Hey everybody. Hey, this is Kyle, aka Vulcan Wolverine, aka Vulcan Wolverine 2. It's Sunday, just turned Sunday. It's like midnight, 12:10 a.m. On July the 7th, 2019. Welcome anybody that's coming in. If anybody's in the chat room yet, and I'm gonna open my chat room. I was gonna tonight. I had some information because like my targeting's so bad and it's messing with my brain so much. Like the neuro weapons are just making it so hard to remember things. Like I'll give y'all an example. Well, I don't want to get too much into this, but like I thought my family was meeting up on July 4th. They had told me before that we're meeting up in Florida the weekend after, so this upcoming week. But I still I didn't remember, and I thought they were meeting up on July 4th. I only remember when my mom told me, "Hey, no, we're meeting the week after." So like that was like Alzheimer's. Like I didn't remember until somebody told me, and I had already been told, hey, we're not meeting on July 4th, we're meeting weekend. It's like stuff like that all the time, where it's like I don't even remember that I forgot something. I have to be reminded, and it's like it's pretty scary. But I was gonna go into something because that's been so bad. I found something very hopeful in a lot of studies about the heart being the second brain to the body and having more hardwired neurons. And I was going to go through that, but then I think everybody's heard. I think all targeted individuals have probably heard by now. I heard it. I think this week somebody came in my chat and said that Phil Leek had died. He's been murdered by this program. No matter what the coroners find or whatever, if he wasn't targeted, he wouldn't have died at this age. He wouldn't have died at this time. So it is from this program. He was murdered. And I wanted to do a little bit like a song at the beginning and just kind of show some videos. But what I'm going to do instead, I'm going to do I don't know how long this live stream is going to be, maybe an hour or something. But I just wanted to remember him because he was like a really good artist. He was a very sensitive guy. He just wanted to create and live his life. And I mean, I do this a lot, or humans do this a lot, but he was like me. It's really hard because like I'm just an artistic guy who wants to live my life. I don't want to have to fight this war. I don't want to fight with anybody, but this program set its sights on me just like it did a lot of you guys, and I just I watched Phil Leek's videos when he first started making them. I kind of I got focused on my own stuff, so I wasn't paying attention to what was happening with him this past year. Really, in like a year, I haven't paid attention to what's been going on with him because he wasn't on YouTube. So what I wanted to do, just instead of I babble because it makes me very uncomfortable. I almost like at this point things are so rough and traumatic. I didn't want this to be true, and I really wanted to verify it because I know that there are some, sometimes rumors get out and it's maybe not true, but this is verified. Phil Leek was murdered by this program. I think it was, a couple of weeks ago. But what I want to do tonight, I just want to remember him. I want to show some of his art, like some of his videos and stuff like that. And you guys can make comments in chat. I'll read some of y'all's comments, but I really wanted to just remember him. Just remember, like, he was a brave guy. He was making a bunch of videos trying to get awareness out about this, but it wasn't his purpose. I guess it becomes your purpose in life. But if he could have chosen and he wasn't targeted, he would have been an artist in his life. He would have done fun things, and it just really I connect with that, and I connected with it when he first came out with videos. So we've got to face it. We've got to face it and mourn him. One of my best friends, who's a targeted individual, her father just died too. Her father just died this last week, so it's like I want to say like when you finally feel like you're getting a leg up, you get smacked down by these tragedies. You know, everybody that's being hurt, that's being killed. And she was very certain that her father was targeted. Very, very certain. Very certain. So I want to say like, oh, when you're getting a leg up, all these tragedies hit, and you know, but it's, I'm not even getting a leg up. You know, it's tragic and traumatizing for me and my family. And then you know, all these other families, my target individual friend, you know, Phil being killed by this program. It's just one hit after another. All this tragedy. This program is evil. I mean, this is obvious. And I think that I really want to show who he was and show some of his videos, because people who are not targeted individuals need to see this, because you can watch his videos. You should be able to, if you're a psychiatrist or a doctor, you should be able to watch Phil's videos, just like my videos or just like other targeted individuals' videos, and watch the progression. Watch his first video and then watch like down the road where he's being affected by these weapons. He's being torn up by them and really, really affected and traumatized. His body is being killed by these weapons, and it's very easy to see. I'm not going to focus so much on that progression, but I think it should be very easy to see. What I really want to do with this live stream is just remember him. You know, just remember him. What did he want us to know? What did he want to say about this? Because I think that's very important. You know, we definitely just don't want to forget anybody who has given their life in this war. I mean, that's a weird thing to say, but they didn't choose. Phil didn't choose to be targeted and to fight directed energy weapon torture and do actives. He didn't choose to do that. Like, he was drafted into a war where he had to do that. And it gets super confusing and hard. And you don't, sometimes you're like, well, I can't act like I'm in a war because I'm just in my community and I'm being killed. And it gets super confusing. And he did a good job. He was a good guy. He had a good heart. He worked with TI Television. You know, he was really trying to stop this. And he wasn't some, you know, just like me, he wasn't some kind of great scientist or great soldier who had been trained. He's just an artist, you know? Like, he was just an artist who wanted to do his art. He wanted to create. He wanted to be peaceful. He wanted to help his community. And he ended up in this fight, in this struggle where he didn't lose. He didn't lose because he fought and he did his best. But they did kill him. So I want to start out with a song. It's really, I'll tell y'all because I clicked on one of his videos. I was picking videos to show tonight, and he plays this Eminem song. And it's really weird because when I picked a song tonight for the heart thing, and it's Eminem. It's this remix. Oh God, I can't even remember the name of the song, but I'm going to play it right now. Hopefully, it won't be a copyright issue or whatever. You know, Listen to Your Heart. It's like a remix of Listen to Your Heart, and then it's like Eminem and Biggie and stuff like that. I wanted to play that for Phil. It's weird because I picked that song first, and then I was looking through his videos, and he plays an Eminem song, so he likes Eminem too. So it's just one of these things. And I had never seen that YouTube video where he plays the Eminem song, so it's just one of these weird things tonight where I was like, oh my God, you know, that's weird. So I know, like, when my grandfather died, my grandfather on my mother's side, I could feel him. Like, I could feel his presence for a little while, very strongly. After he died. And I think I really believe in that. Like, I really, really believe in that like when people first pass over, you know, we can remember them and feel their presence as they pass over. Still, even when they're in heaven, we can too. But I think at first, when they first pass away, and he was murdered, so I'm not, you know, he was murdered by this program, but when they're gone, when they're first gone, you can really get you know, that connection with them. I didn't know Phil well. You know, I watched his videos and I'd never talked to him, but when you're a targeted individual and there's another targeted individual speaking out, there's this instant connection. I don't want to say like trauma bonding, but you like understand what they're going through. You understand what they're talking about, especially like somebody like Phil, who's very artistic. And like, you know, I'm a Pisces. Like, well, I wanted to be a director in my life. But then I kind of, all this stuff happened, and I'm like, well, I just want to get my fantasy book out, my fantasy novel, and do some stuff. But I'm a horrible painter and stuff. But he was a great artist. He was a good artist. I mean, he could have put his stuff in like you know, in some shows and stuff like that. I think he did. I think he actually did. I'm not sure. But let me get it started out, guys. Anybody coming into chat, welcome to you. I'm gonna open up my chat room and stuff. But I want to play this song for Phil. I don't think there will be a copyright issue. And if there is, I'll just, you know, I'll turn it off real quick. And then we're gonna kind of just watch some of his videos and just remember him, you know, and see what he wanted to tell everybody. That's important to me, what he wanted to tell people.
There's something in the wake of your smile. I get a notion from the look in your eyes. Yeah, you've built a love, but that love falls apart. A little piece of heaven turns to dark. Listen to your heart.
There's a certain mystique when I speak that you notice that's sort of unique. Cause you know it's me, my poetry's deep, and I'm still dramatic the way I floated this beat. You can't sit still, it's like trying to smoke crack and go to sleep. I'm strapped, it's knowing any minute I could snap. I'm the equivalent of what would happen if Bush rapped. Not only these rappers so bad lyrically, it ain't even funny, I ain't even hungry, it ain't even money. You can't pay me enough for you to play me. It's cockamania, you just ain't zany enough to rock with shady. My noodle is cockadoodle, my clock's cuckoo, I got screws loose. Yeah, the whole kid and caboodle, I'm just brutal. It's no rumor, I'm numero uno. Assume it, there's no humor in it, no more you know. I'm rolling with a swollen bowling ball in my bag. You need a bag to come and tear a new hole in my ass.
I know there's something in the wake of your smile. I get a notion from the look in your eyes. Yeah, you've built a love, but that love falls apart. A little piece of heaven turns to dark. Listen to your heart.
I swear to God, I wanna just slip my wrist and end this bullshit. Throw the magnum to my head, bring the bullshit and squeeze until the bed is completely red. I'm glad I'm dead. I work this fucking Buddha head. The stress is building up. I can't believe suicide's on my fucking mind. I wanna leave. I swear to God, it feels like death is fucking calling. Nah, you wouldn't understand. You see, it's kinda like the crack kids, the Pookie and New Jack. Except when I cross over, it ain't no coming back. Should I die on the train track like Rainbow on the big street? People at the funeral frontin' like they miss me. My baby mama kissed me, but she glad I'm gone. She know me and her sister had something going on. I reached my peak, I can't speak. Call my nigga cheek, tell him that my will is weak.
I know there's something in the wake of your smile. I get a notion from the look in your eyes. Yeah, you've built a love, but that love falls apart. A little piece of heaven turns to dark. Listen to your heart.
I gotta work with what you gave me, claiming I'm a criminal when you the one that made me. They got me trapped in this slavery. Now I'm lost in this Holocaust, headed for my grave, G. I told Sam he could fuck the war and gotta bust the dog. I said fuck the law. And if you wonder why I'm mad, check the record. What's a nigga gotta do to get respected? Sometimes I think I'm getting tested. And if I don't say yes, a nigga's quick to get arrested. That's the reason I stay tested. I keep a vest on my chest in case the cops are getting restless. Walking around ready to light shit up. This is my life is fucked, so say I'm slightly nuts. Fuck, is the sound as I move. Other niggas pay attention when I'm fool, but they make a nigga be a killer. I used to be a dealer, but they want to see who was real. Now them same motherfuckers wanna murder me.
I know there's something in the wake of your smile. I get a notion from the look in your eyes. Yeah, you've built a love, but that love falls apart. A little piece of heaven turns to dark. Listen to your. I know there's something in the wake of your smile. I get a notion from the look in your eyes. Yeah, you've built a love, but that love falls apart. A little piece of heaven turns to dark. Listen to your heart.
All right, guys. I just wanted to play that for Phil. It's weird because it's really weird because I picked that song for another topic. Like I was just gonna play it before I started going through some information on the heart is a secondary brain, and I think that can give us a lot of hope too. But it kind of just like I started looking into Phil's videos, and I was like, I really wanted to do, just a memorial video, not just for us as targeted individuals and Phil, but I want non-targeted individuals who do kind of maybe pass through my videos to see this beautiful guy, this sensitive guy, this artist. Like he didn't want to mess with anybody. He lost his life to this targeting program. Let me read this in chat real quick. And welcome, guys. Welcome. Hey, Native and Sweet Treats and S. Robles and PA, Robin Hood, and I think and Spirit Channel and CC. Okay, so S. Robles, it puts in chat, I read Phil Leek's mom said he passed in his sleep, but no more info than that. Yeah, and I don't think probably they're gonna. Hopefully they'll do an autopsy. But my main point on this is that he wouldn't be dead. He would not be dead if not for this targeting program. Because people's bodies give out from this torture. He may have been taking I don't know. He may have been taking medication or something for the pain or something like that, and there were complications. But the bottom line is that he would still be alive if he was not being targeted with these directed energy weapons. So there's major complications within this. Just like my dad had that aneurysm. Maybe the people targeting him, and I'm talking about Phil now. Maybe the people targeting him did not plan to kill him that night. They weren't like, okay, tonight's the night we're going to kill him. But they had been targeting him for so long, and they continued to do so. And then, probably complications, maybe his heart or something went wrong. And, and then he died in his sleep. But the bottom line is we know that if he was not targeted, he would not be dead now. So he was murdered, So let's see. Naven Romper says, thank you for verifying, Kyle. So sad. God bless Phil and his family. Yeah, and I really somebody put it in the chat that he was murdered last week, I think. And I go, oh my gosh, did that really happen? And I really wanted to verify it. It is verified. I've talked to a lot of targeted individuals, and it's there's information coming from his parents and the guys who run targeted TI television. Also, guys, just so you can check out, I don't know if I'm going to show this video, but this is from Autumn's channel. She does a lot of great work. She finds really important information for the targeted individual community. And she put up this rest in peace, Phil Leek. I don't really want to, y'all go to her channel and check out this video. I'm going to try and show tonight, because he, in this video, he is getting really, really harassed, and talking about some of the things they were doing with the gang stalking. And if you notice, I kind of noticed this, he really bulked up during his time of targeting, which I think a lot of guys do. I really haven't done it. But to feel safer, to feel like if somebody did something, you know, really, really harmful with the gang stalking, he would be prepared. He'd be able to fight. And I think that's, you know, you see how he really bulked up during his time being targeted. But he was a really good guy. I want to show y'all some of his art. I want to go to one of the videos. Let's see. I'll read some of y'all's other comments. Sweet Treats 8000 says, for Phil, may God rest his soul. Yeah, definitely. And you know, we try and find it. It's devastating. I didn't want to face this. You know, I'll be honest with you guys. I was like, you know, I'm trying to find some footing, and this rips me apart. Like it really rips me apart because, like, I'm kind of like Phil. Like, I'm just an artistic guy who, you know, wants peace in my life. You know, I'm a sensitive guy. You can tell Phil's that kind of guy. He probably would have never made a YouTube video if he wasn't targeted. Maybe he would have, because his music was good and his art was good. Maybe he would have made a YouTube video, but you know, he was kind of forced into it. He was forced into talking about this, and there's just a lot of things where I really connected with what he was doing when he first came on. When he first came on to YouTube, I was watching like every video that he put out, and he's getting, obviously he was getting targeted very hard because his body gave out. Like later on, we all get mixed up in our own stuff, and we lose track of each other. And I was hoping that was the case with Phil. I was hoping that maybe there was just a rumor that he had been murdered, but he just kind of fell off the map. Because sometimes that happens to targeted individuals. You know, they just get out of contact with people, and people think the worst, you know, about what's happened to them. And I was really hoping for that. I was really hoping for that. But we've got to face these things. We've got to mourn the people that we've lost. And then we've got to know what we're fighting for. We're fighting for what they were fighting for. We're fighting for them. We're fighting so it doesn't happen again. You know, that's one of my main things. So many people are dying from this. So many people are being tortured to death. And then, you know, we're being the people that are still here being targeted 24 hours a day. So I just want to remember him. I want to go through some of his videos where he shows his art and everything, so people can see how talented he was. That he wasn't you know, he was here on this earth with a destiny. You know, God created Phil to come on this earth and to create things. And these evil F's, you know, took his life. They you know, tortured him and made him have to fight something that he never should have had to fight. You know, and he lost his life in that fight to a great evil. But that doesn't mean that he didn't have victory. He had a lot of victory because he left it behind his testimony. I want y'all to see how important that is too. And God forbid anything happens to anybody watching this video, targeted individual or not. You know, I hope that we can all get out of this. You know, I've found ways to defend and make it less bad. And it seems like that's kind of been my goal lately, is to make this less bad for us, to buy time so that then we can make it no bad, right? I know that's a weird way to say it, but buy time, make everything less bad for us and our families, strengthen us so that we can end this program. And it's really a hit. I take a hit when I see somebody who, and it's not about me, you know, it's not about me at all. It's about Phil. It's about targeted individuals who have been murdered by this program. But when I see a targeted individual who makes a video about what they're going to do about this, and they're fighting hard, and they've got plans to, you know, to bring it down, and I'm just like, well, I have that too. I'm saying that too. And then they, you know, murdered by this program. It really strikes at my heart, you know. And I really wanted to avoid, you know, I wanted to avoid making a video about it this time. Because I'm like, we need happiness, we need hope, and it's like every time I come on these videos, it's you know, some topic that's just heartbreaking and tragic. I think what the deal is, though, guys, is we have to face these things. We have to face the bad things that happen, and we're gonna have to find happiness and love within the dust. The dust is never gonna settle. This program may end, but then there will be something else, some other crisis, some other genocide that the top of the pyramid's creating. We have to mourn and remember each other. Remember those that have, have been murdered by this, but still find happiness and hope to go on. And they would want that. Phil would want that. He would want people to remember like how cool he was, his awesome art, but he wouldn't want it to drag other target individuals down. He'd want the things that he put out to give targeted individuals strength. And I know that for a fact, because, if heaven forbid, if I was murdered by this program or my body gave out, I wouldn't want y'all, I'd want y'all to see that as not as a positive thing, me dying, but I want y'all to remember the positive things that I did and just try and incorporate them into y'all's lives and not let it break you, that I was gone. So I know that Phil had that. He was just a really good person. So I know that he'd be thinking about what can strengthen us. So let me show y'all. I want to show y'all some of his art. Robin Hood said someone murdered him, and I think I explained that. It's like probably they're gonna do an autopsy, and it just doesn't matter the reason, because whatever the reason was, it was exacerbated by the targeting. So he would not have died if he was not being targeted by integrated directed energy weapon systems. And who knows what he was trying to do to survive and just not lose his mind, because he had audible V2K. People targeting him were just ripping up his body. They were using neuro weapons, the remote neural manipulation, like heavy stuff. So Native Spirit Channel says, "Oh my God, Kyle just tuned in. I can't believe this. Phil was such a nice guy. I spoke with him a few times. Damn, yeah. I feel exactly like you feel, Spirit Channel. I didn't even want to accept it. I wanted to think that he had just fallen off the map. Like a lot of targeted individuals kind of just, they work so hard, and then it's kind of like, they got to take a break, and they maybe disconnect from some people. And I was just really hoping it was that." Native Neuropter says, "Phil didn't deserve this. No one does. We should remember him as a true, brave, and strong fighter." Yes, Native, exactly. And yeah, and I'm gonna go through some video. I'm gonna go through things that he wanted to put out, but I do want to also show. I also want to show his art, like how creative he was, like how special he was, because it's a huge thing about these huge global genocide programs. They don't care who they kill. They don't care who they destroy. They don't care who they torture. Phil is like a very, very unique, special person who could have affected his family. Well, he did. He did affect his community and his family with his art, with his creativity. But it's just a testament to how evil this program is, because it doesn't care about that. It saw Phil as a number, a person to experiment on, just a brain to mess around with, a life to mess around with, and learn how to do psyops better, and learn how to use the neuro weapons better, and map the brain, and all these things that they're doing. They didn't see him as a human being with a right to his destiny, with a right to created by his creator to create on this earth. And he had a destiny, and this program throws that out. I know that, not just looking at Phil's situation, because I'm experiencing that, right? You guys are experiencing that. We're all unique. We all have these talents. We were all put on this earth for a reason. And what this program does, and the people who do torture and murder targeted individuals, is they just see us as expendable. They see us as expendable, maybe, or however they may see us as somebody influential, but that maybe has information or something like that, but they don't care. They don't see us as a unique human individual. Sean Bottom says, "We need to ride up like the French resistance against the Nazis." I agree. And I'll tell you guys, like, we need to get out in the streets, but it's just, That's not going to happen right now. There's not enough people who are willing, like target individuals are so sick, like so injured from this, not sick, like not mentally ill, but injured from this stuff, that it's hard for them to just go out and, you know, go out in the streets every day and go protest every day. But we do have the TI day on August 29th. So guys, remember that. Let's all try, like I'm trying my best to get my dog stuff taken care of, so I can go like either to Oregon or if there's one closer by. But let's all plan on that one day really giving it our all and giving it our best, because then people can record a lot of that stuff by video and it can spread out, you know. It can really snowball these rallies, and then it's easy to show your parents or your friends that this is happening when you show these rallies, these huge rallies, where people are giving all this evidence out, and all these targeted individuals are coming to the rally. People see that and they're like, oh, okay, I get it now. And they can digest that. They can digest it because we're protesting against it. We're doing activism. It's hard for people who are not targeted to digest what is happening to us, you know, what is happening to us on an individual basis. PA says, S. Roble says, well, hey, Jeanette. Jeanette Dizette says, hello, everyone. Hi, Kyle. S. Roble says, I agree. I believe it was technology that killed him, too. Yeah, and S. Roble's like, you know, don't get me wrong. There could have been complications with something that was going on with his life. But bottom line, if he was not being targeted by these weapons, his body would not have given out. Look how young he is. Look how young he is. Like, I'm 38. He has to be in his maybe late 20s or early 30s. There's no way that it's somebody in their early 30s, and I'm not sure. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong about his age. Even if he was 40, right? But I think he's like late 20s, early 30s. They should not have died in their sleep. They should not have just died in their sleep, you know. And I don't know if we're going to get any more information from the autopsy. I hope that we do. I hope that his parents really push on that. But like I've seen in a lot of other bizarre situations where people lose their lives from these bizarre circumstances and targeting, you know, they're cremated very quickly, and or the court, they don't really, they just say, oh, died of natural causes, and then, you know, push it away real fast. I hope that doesn't happen, but I don't know. Oh, hey, Autumn. Yeah, and everybody check out this. Just check out Autumn's channel. PA said he seemed like a really nice man. Yeah, I'm going to show y'all some of his art and some of the things that he wanted to tell, some of the things that he wanted to tell everybody about what he was going through. And I think that's, you know, I can't bring him back from the dead, or, you know, I'm not, you know, it's like I can't do much. You know, he was murdered by his program, but what I can do, right? I can celebrate his life, celebrate his fight, you know, remember him, show how special he was. And also, one of the most important things is, what did he want to say to everybody? And I'm actually, you know, I'll tell you all the truth. On Crystal Starheart, when she was murdered by this program, I wanted to do a video going through her videos and stuff. And you know, I did. I showed a couple of her videos, but I couldn't face it. I can't face it. Like it's really hard for me. It's really hard for me because I see myself in Phil and Crystal Starheart and target individuals that are gone, because they were fighting. You know, they were fighting, and they had hope. And you know, so it's very hard for me, you know, when they're gone, to face it. But I want to do that. I want to do that. I need to do that. We need to do that. You know, we need to face it, celebrate their life. And also just to see what they want. So you know, I'm probably going to go back in some of Crystal Starheart's videos and show what she wanted to tell everybody too, because it's so important. They left a testimony behind. So I mean, so there's no way, you know, I mean, it's really hard. This is hard to talk about, because it's just like, y'all know, I try and like stay positive. But we still have to face these awful things that are happening, right? And we've got to remember those that we love, that we've lost. We just have to do that. It's a part of life. You know, death is a part of life. It's made me well, I'm not going to go into all my personal stuff. It's made me face that idea of that we're not going to be here forever, you know. And it's tough. That's tough. Spirit Channel says, Kyle, I was arrested by the Department of Homeland Security at the beginning of my targeting, and they told me that I would be killed and no one would believe I was, wow, no one would believe I was murdered. Well, that's what's happening. That's what's happening to people like Phil, people like Crystal Starheart. You know, non-targeted individuals don't know, and they're just like, oh, well, this person passed away, or this person committed suicide, or whatever. And I don't think there was anything like suicide with Phil's death. But we're the only, you know, targeted individuals who are going through this. We see it straight away. We know that it was these weapons, that whatever kind of complications occurred, it was caused by this targeting. It would not, if something would not have happened, if the targeting would not have been murdering him and torturing him, he would still be alive. So that's the bottom line, you know. Okay, guys, I want to show y'all some of Phil's art. I'm gonna keep it pretty short tonight. I'm not feeling good at all, y'all. The last couple of videos and that I've been making, my attackers are really, really angry. They're messing up my face, like my cheek and my jaw. See, PA said he seems so strong mentally and physically with a lot to offer. It's just senseless to do this to another person. Yeah, I agree, PA. It's so senseless. There's other ways to advance weaponry or to learn about the human brain. It's this way that the top of the pyramid can trick people down below, thinking they're sacrificing their fellow citizens of their country to advance some weapons and protect their country more, or learn more about neuroweapons or whatever, for some kind of reason. But there are other humane, moral ways to do it. If the military industrial complex wants to sit up in these directed energy summits and say, well, we're thinking about everything in the most morally and ethical way that we can, if they want to say that, then this needs to come out, and they don't need to be experimenting on innocent citizens. I mean, it's a no-brainer. You know, it's a no-brainer. Yeah, Rick M says, and hey, Rick, yes, but they ain't nice. They don't play fair. This is evil. Exactly. And Autumn says, PA, that's what they do. Torture us till we die. They are monsters. Now, I don't want that to happen, y'all. I don't want to make any promises, because it's not like I can be like, well, I'm going to end this program, right? It is a process. But I don't want that to happen. Y'all, I know y'all don't want it to happen either. We're being tortured right now. We're losing people. It is a war. But I don't, some of us don't have to go through this our whole entire lives. We can change things. We can affect this long process that's happening, so where people know about it more, these consumer products come out more, we get more help, we learn better ways to defend, and eventually when everybody knows about this technology, or when a good percentage, I think not the whole public doesn't have to know about the technology, but a good percentage of the public, 20% or whatever, that's going to exponentially explode, right? So we can do this. I mean, we can do it all as a whole and push the system, quicken it. But Autumn's right. That's what they do intend to do. They intend to torture us until our death, so that there will be no question about if we were, because they're trying to exactly mimic mental illness with these directed energy weapons. So if they just stopped, right, it's like, oh, well, my attacker stopped and now I'm fine, people would believe it more. So they have to attack us our whole lives, and probably some kind of, for some kind of experimentation needs, it has to be through our whole lifespan, whatever kind of sick experimental stuff that they want to do. Yeah, I was going to play this video, Neurons in the Heart, but I'm going to save that. And what I want to do, I want to show this. Wait, I wanted to show some of his art. Let's show some of his art first.
Quick recording of my drawings I've been doing over the past few days that Mum's put up on her walls in Mum's bedroom. So another one there.
Guys, does anybody in chat know how old he was? Can y'all put it in chat if anybody does know that?
A baby in a womb, you know. These are my best ones, I reckon.
Like, really reminds me of MC Escher. He had a very, very creative mind. Like, I remember, like, it's hard to go through all of his videos because he made so many. So I found this one where he was like just showing his art, but he has a lot of videos where he'd be talking about his targeting, he'd be talking about this, and then he'd show like all the drawings on his wall and stuff like that. He'd go through his art. He was always creating art. He was always creating, always, just a very, very unique, sensitive person, right? And he wasn't a weak person at all. That's another problem. That's another problem with this. Some people have morals. Like Phil had morals. I have morals. You guys have morals. We're not weak. We're like sensitive because, well, we're not even sensitive. Not killing people. We don't want to fight all the time. We don't want to kill people. We don't want to hurt people. And it seems like people in this program that are doing this stuff, that are microwaving us and helping with this, they see somebody who doesn't want to hurt anybody is weak, as weak and a buffoon or whatever. And that is some kind of just the most extreme form of this evil conditioning, right? Because I mean, you can be a very strong person, but just not go around hurting people at random. I mean, it should be this obvious thing. It's scary that in the world today, it's not an obvious thing for some people,
To be better with just shading with a 2B pencil. Stay come up with some crazy messages on it, crazy symbols. A quick sketch that I was gonna finish, but I wanted to put
those 3D little balls. That's a lot of talent. I mean, that's really that's a talented artist that can do that. It's like it's just a talent that he has, that God gave him.
Quickly move over here. She's got on the wall here, but an eye with buildings coming out of it and sort of flowery things. A horse I did from a probation worker. Red.
Look at that. That's really hard. To draw eyes is like the hardest thing. That's what I hear from artists. And also, like, he would say it a lot. Like, he would say it a lot because I think some people were like, oh, you're drawing eyes, that's like Illuminati and stuff. And he would tell people, no, I just like eyes. Like, it has nothing to do with the Illuminati or anything like that. His torture, the neuroweapons torture may have affected him and made him kind of, I don't know, maybe words are so hard, guys. My brain is so messed up from this stuff. That's why I was going to do the neurons in the heart. But, the neuroweapons torture form may have made him have impulses to draw eyes more or something like that, maybe. But, what his art and stuff was not like. He would say it over and over again because he got a couple of comments that were like, oh, eyes are Illuminati. Me, myself, I know that there are signals and stuff for the Illuminati and for Satanists, but like I watched Jeremiah Cohen's channel and he's like showing people who are just like folding their hands or sticking out their tongue and stuff like that. And I'm like, the signals have gotten out of hand. At some point, I think it's like a psyop to just make Christians more and more paranoid. But I mean, there is a truth to it. There are certain symbols and stuff like that, and certain people that do them a lot. So I'm not saying it's not true, but I kind of see that it's gotten out of hand. Where if anybody draws an eye, or if I was gonna do an okay symbol, like really do an okay symbol, like okay, like sarcastically or something, people would think I was like a Satanist, and it's just like, it's kind of going too far, in my opinion.
There's some up here. It's hard to get the angle high up.
Look at that one. Take somebody really creative to draw like that. Look at that. That's really cool. That one's awesome too. And then I want to show this one. This was weird because like I picked that Eminem song like earlier before I was even gonna do a video, you know, remembering Phil, and then I saw this video, and just like right after that, I was like, okay, I just got to do a video where we just remember Phil. So I'm gonna try and I'm gonna actually stop talking, guys. I'll maybe read y'all's chats. You know, I'll read y'all's chats, but I just want to show some what Phil wanted to get across. That's super important to me. I think y'all know why, right? I mean, y'all would know why it'd be so important for me that when a target individual who's been making tons of videos on YouTube, you know, dies, is murdered by this program. Yeah, I don't know why I have so much trouble with that. Like, he was murdered by this program. The wording for it sometimes, though, I try and soften it up, like, oh, when he passed away or something like that. But he was murdered by this program. I'll always do that. I'm like, oh, passed away or passed to the other side. It's some kind of conditioning, I guess, you know.
Why I feel this is from like an Eminem album that I don't normally really listen to, but I decided to get a load just to change the way my brain is thinking. I'll just put this on repeat. What he says.
Feel like I'm trapped in an animal cell, but always pet peeves. God damn it to hell, I can't stand all these kids with the camera cell phones. I can't go anywhere. Reach for a habit. Feel like I'm trapped in an animal cell, but always pet peeves. God damn it to hell, I can't stand all these kids with the camera cell phones. I can't go anywhere. Reach for a habit. Feel like I'm trapped in an animal cell.
This is my show up.
God damn it to hell, I can't stand
At least it's got some nice artwork that I've done over the years.
Got a lot of nice artwork, man.
Whatever.
I just wanted to make sure it wasn't copyrighted.
Some more colourful than others. This is how my brain feels at the moment. There's about 20 faces in there, if you can see them. Noses, everything. But you don't want to hear that continuously, do you? Pull that tape work out of your mind, man. It's sucking away your analytical brain in your mind.
And you know, a lot of the stuff he said was very important, but he's an artistic guy. You know, he's not some scientist. He's saying, you pull the tapeworm out of your mind. Like, you know, he's saying very important stuff to people. And I think a lot of non-target individuals would look at him and be like, oh man, you know, it's like people that are too unique. You know, they're too artistic. People look at him and they're like, oh man, that's weird. You know, he's not explaining it in this compliant way, how all scientists use these scientific words, right? He's explaining it in his way, in his own unique way. Still very important stuff, you know, that people needed to know.
He's turning your brain analytical.
And I actually, guys, for real, I really believe that's why they pick unique people. They pick artistic people because we express ourselves in ways that some people don't understand sometimes, you know. And we've got to really struggle to kind of narrow ourselves down so that we can, you know, can talk to the compliant people, right? And so they do that on purpose. They pick people in the top of the pyramid in this program probably sees artistic people and unique people. It's just outliers, you know, as deplorables, or you know, people that are marginalized. They don't even see the uniqueness, the creativity, the destiny in being different. We need people who are different in this world. Because a hive mind ain't gonna work. We'll be humans no longer.
What we have been doing for so many years, the left hand behind the back, it's like with the nuns and so forth. It's conditioning, and it's been gradual conditioning, so you never use your imagination or your logic, right?
He's right. He's exactly right.
Optical 7.0/10. It's true. Software version 7.0. He said this years ago, Mr. Tankian. It's true. It comes up with all facial reading software, lasers that are micrometers thick, and this could be why one like me sees these lasers aimed at me continuously as soon as I close my eyes. Also, they're flashing pictures. That's not the only thing involved. There's lots of other things involved, but that's part of it. It makes me wonder, does anyone who lives in a housing association get the same things? Or is it because we're in a women's refuge? Maybe.
Hey, and everybody coming in the chat. Hey, Tanya, and Anonymous Eagle, Messenger of the Cross. Tamara. What we're doing tonight, we're just remembering Phil. You know, I just want to remember him. I wanted to show some of his videos, you know, in points that he wanted to get out. And it was extremely hard for him, like it is all of us. You know, he's being targeted. You know, our brains get very wonky. But that's what's happening with me a lot. Is I can't remember things, or you just feel you feel like you can't think. You know, you can't really present yourself well because you're being ripped up on the outside and the inside. And it's really hard. It's really hard for artistic people too, for people with a lot of that are very unique, because they want to express how they feel, right? And Phil was fearless. He was fearless in that. Like, he wanted to express how he felt about this, and he wasn't going to tone himself down. He wasn't going to like try and get eye to eye with a bunch of compliant people. He was going to express what was happening to him, how he wanted to express it. And I think they use that against us sometimes, you know. I know that for me, I have to think about it. I'm like, oh, how I'm presenting this, like I want to present it my unique way, but maybe I should do it in the way that everybody else will kind of, non-targeted individuals will understand. And Phil didn't think about that at all. He wanted to express something, and he expressed it. So it's something that we could really get inspired by and learn from him. He leaves a legacy. He fought harder than most people on this world against evil. And we got it. Like, I want non-target individuals to see it. I don't know if they will, but I know you guys in chat will. I'd like non-targeted individuals to see it. You know, see how hard someone like Phil fought in his life for what was right. Just something that happened to him. Just something that was hooked into him. And he didn't have a choice about it.
Talk about some serious stuff today. Remember when I got my head bashed in from behind? Some very heavy metal object swung at the side of my head from behind, which should have really caused, at least fractured my skull or some sort of brain damage. I've had other kick-ins before that I haven't remembered when it completely bashed my brain in two. But this one was after me questioning someone I know to be in the in noisy neighbours into the mind curve. They're partying out there. I've got the window shut too. Into the mind control business. This person, I won't say if it's a he or a she, I questioned them on it. I said, you've been putting people into hypnotic trances, because I witnessed it with my own eyes, because they assumed that I was in a trance for some reason or another, like through a trigger word or something. I've been conditioned by them anyway. So they assumed I was also in the trance. But anyway, I questioned them on it, and I said, you've been mind controlling people, haven't you? You've been using hypnotism, basically.
Tamara Friedman says Phil was a beautiful man and he was super creative. They love to target people like that because they steal property and creative ideas. Yeah, and Tamara, the thing is, they're trying to make AI better. So when they're doing this neuroweapon crap to us, when they were doing neuroweapon stuff to Phil, they're trying to teach the AI. Like with me, they'll do the chatterbox, and then my brain is responding to it. So the AI is learning from how our brains work. And if you have a creative brain and a creative problem-solving brain, that they're trying to teach the AI these things about us too. And not only that, but yeah, like you're saying, creative ideas like intellectual property is a huge thing. I mean, think about that. If they're tapped into everybody's brains, the smartest inventors and stuff like that will think of something, and before that they can patent it and create it, DARPA will create it because they've got that idea. Think about how dangerous that is for everybody's ideas in the public sphere to be funneled up first, right? Where the evil top of the pyramid gets ideas before people can enact them in a public space. So it's super true. It's super true. And Phil had a creative mind. Like I don't know if it was like I don't know him good enough to know like exact. I know what type of person he was. He was a good person, and it looked like he was very, very artistic. The AI can learn from that, right? It's just really sick. It's really sick. But we have to know that we have to know what their justifications are for this. These evil people's justifications. And it makes me sick, and it feels like it infects me. But we've got to know why they're doing this and what they're thinking, so we can fight it better. And Phil did fight. He did fight, man. He made tons of videos. He worked with TI Television. They went on a road trip. They went on a couple of road trips, I think.
I don't know if the use of scopolamine was involved or whatever, but I've seen how it works basically, and I questioned the person on it, and I said the thing. Well, there's two of them, so it doesn't matter anyway. She admitted to it, and I think they'd known before that I'd witnessed what they're doing and what they have done, and goodness knows how long they've been doing it to people. But because I knew, and because I'd found out about it, and because I feel I'm quite morally righteous, and that they're probably afraid of me getting it all out into the open of part of this targeting scheme, because this is part of the targeted individual scheme.
And what he's saying there is fact. Like, he's morally righteous. He hasn't killed anybody or done anything bad. And what these people want to do, because they've done it to me too, because I do the morally right thing. But if they can just destroy those types of people, destroy our brains or mess up our brains, they think it's all good. Look, well, if we come up against a good person and we're targeting all these good people, well, we'll just destroy their brains. We'll mess up their brains so that people won't listen to them, because we're coming up on this time where and it's always been like this in our world, really, but it's just becoming so sickening, where everything is about surface. Like, everything is about surface. They're making this world like a haven for psychopaths, who have nothing on the inside, don't care about it, but they can have a good surface. They can smile and act the right way. And then if they can take a good person who feels like really feels the right way, feels love for people, wants to do good things, but just mess up their surface, mess up their speech and everything like that, mess up like how they communicate with people, then people will be like, oh, that's a bad person because the surface isn't good, right? And that's what they were trying to do to Phil. I mean, before they murdered him, trying to really mess him up so that he looked like he was on drugs or something like that. And you know what, guys? Like, I'll tell you the truth. Maybe Phil did take some drugs or something like that. I take kratom, I take Ativan, I take CBD oil. He may have been doing something to relieve being murdered, right? And I don't even really want to mention it because I think it'll get people off of the bottom line. Is that if he was not hit with these directed energy weapons, he would not be dead. But yeah, maybe, there could have been complications because he was in so much pain that he was trying some kind of medicine or something like that. We don't know. But it's like that's not even the point, right? That's not even the point. The point is that without this targeting, he would still be alive. And that's what that's when we get into stuff like secondary and tertiary effects of the targeting. What you try and do to stop it could maybe hurt you, right? But that's still their fault because if they weren't murdering you, you would have never tried to do that thing. Like some of the things like the direct transcranial stimulation. If I don't do it right and I turned it up as high as possible and just hurt myself from it because of the target, because I was trying to fight the targeting, and I don't do that. But I'm giving an example. That would be like a secondary effect of the torture, something, or like people who try and pull their teeth out to get chips out of them because they're being targeted and they don't know if they have chips in their teeth, right? So it's like that secondary and tertiary effects that can really, really harm a person being hit with these weapons because they want to get it to stop.
Criminal networks would know a lot about psychology, basically. Psychopaths that know a lot about psychology. So, after that, I think it was the same day I went for a long.
So Jeanette Dizette says, was an autopsy performed on this young man? Jeanette, I don't know. That's what I was saying. I hope that his parents will go ahead and do I think they have to do an autopsy, basically. I think they have to do an autopsy. I'll be honest with you guys. I really don't know enough about Phil's situation. So I don't know what to expect from the coroner's report. I don't even know if I'll ever see it, right? I hope that his parents get in contact with TI Television, with those guys in England that he worked with, and I hope that they will give them the report. But what I'm feeling is it's either they're going to say, I don't even want to say this because it's going to get people. The point is he was targeted by these directed energy weapons, and that's why he was murdered. I'm thinking they'll probably either find it was natural cause. They'll say they won't find this, but they will say it was natural causes, or maybe some kind of overdose. Like I don't even want to say that because I don't know it all. I don't know it all, but it wouldn't even matter. That would not matter because whatever, if he was doing something, and this is just speculation. Like I don't want to speculate about it too much. So well, he might have been doing something because he was being murdered that made things complicated for his body. And I would not judge him at all for that. Probably that's just complete speculation. I guess more likely is that I think they're going to be like, oh, well, it was probably natural cause or something. I hope they do an investigation. I hope his parents push on this because I'm sure he told his parents that this was happening to them, and their ears should perk up a little bit and they should be like, well, this is very bizarre. So I really hope that his parents do go through and bring this to the police and tell the police what he was talking about. And maybe they would talk with like TI Television and stuff like that. But I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what they're going to find. Hey, Badger Man, how you doing? Hey, Yogi. Okay, so Yogi says Phil was off drugs before his death. Okay, 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 cool, cool. All right, yeah, and I'm not, I'm not trying. I shouldn't even speculate. I don't know enough about it, and from what I'm seeing in all of his videos, it's like the targeting was really affecting him. It wouldn't matter. My point, bottom line point, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the autopsy finds. We know he was targeted. We know he was hit with these weapons, and that's the cause. Even if it was tertiary, secondary, or tertiary from the torture, that would be the cause. If he was not targeted, he would not be dead. So that is murder, right?
And I got the crack and the broken ankle. So yeah, they know. Blinking in the ears is strange. They know.
Yeah. Okay. What Jennifer says is really important. Jennifer Burns says, "I know for me, they have tried to keep me alive, to keep using me, but they can make a mistake and easily kill us." Yeah, that's very, very important, because that's what it seems like with me and my attackers, and probably a lot of you guys. It seems like my attackers aren't like, "Hey, we're gonna kill him tonight," but my heart could easily stop, or something could happen, like what happened to my dad. When they targeted my dad, he had an aneurysm. His blood-brain barrier was thin, and it had a reaction to the electromagnetic radiation and busted. So I mean, I think that's what we're seeing with a lot of deaths from targeted individuals. Is something happens to their body from the torture, and their heart gives out, or something happens with the brain, like could have been an aneurysm or something like that with Phil. Uh, I'm not, that's what I feel from my attackers too, though, is that, they're not going to kill me because they're experimenting on me. But shit happens, right? I guess that's a bad way to say it, but
part of how this works, how this scheme works, from a side point. And also, this same person, the reason I'm bringing this up is because people keep telling people to join a church, and that will save them from all this.
hey,
Well,
nobody.
This person goes to church all the time. There's lots of different churches, so you can spread gossip or whatever in the churches, feed bad information.
Yeah, Anonymous Eagle says they like a slow kill. Yeah, I mean that's the whole thing. Well, from my perspective in my research, and I put a lot of it up on my channel, the centerpiece for all of this is experimentation. It's training, research, and development. I'm sure y'all have heard Brian too say that a lot. It's training, research, and development. So it's a development of these neuro weapons and directed energy weapon systems. It's practicing with them on people to see what kind of psyops and things they can do in communities, because they have to be able to use these things within what's it called, urban areas, and then it's experimentation of the brain, what they can, trauma-based behavioral control of the brain and the nervous system. So I think that's the centerpiece. But then you've got all these other crimes that angle off of it as you get further down the pyramid. Some of these people who are gang stalking, or maybe hooked up with DHS fusion systems, they'll commit RICO crimes on us, like insurance fraud and things like that. But at the very top, the top of this, at the Pentagon level, they're hitting us with weapons and stuff for experimentation to see what torture can do to a human being. And then within that, off an angle of that, higher up, is that slow kill. They're slow killing a lot of people on the earth. This is one way they do it, but they get all this information out of it, right? It's really sick. The sickest thing I've ever known.
About people through the church So some people are going to be quite susceptible. Oh, this person's really bad, we'll have to watch out for them, that sort of thing. So, in effect, you going to join a church, if you're susceptible to gossip and you listen to gossip about people or things, you could basically be part of a gang stalking network or organised theatrics network. The same goes for if you join a certain class. It's the same with cults. It's the same with any group can be manipulated in that way.
He's very right.
But there are people like that within the group. So what I'm saying is, and a lot of people are not going to like this, is I follow no religion, and I go to no church, and I think Christians, Muslims, whatever religion could be manipulated into this organised stuff. I also know Hindus have been involved with my organised theatrics too. Only because of the dot on the head. Well, I assume it's a Hindu religion. But this was from a... Well, I don't want to go into the details because I don't want to expose who they are or whatever. But this is a crazy...
I'm going to check out another one of his videos, guys. I've got a couple pulled up. Oh, this is awesome. Let's watch this. He did a lot of songs on his channel. I'm not even sure. I guess it's like rap. It's a very unique form of rap.
Shit to Dalpa, shit to my stepfather, shit to everyone that harms you, shit to feeling larger, shit to gang stalking, shit to rural walking, shit to the people's walking, shit to not talking, shit to electronic harassment, shit to all that embarrassment, shit to all harassment, shit to fucking harm, shit to experimenting on people, shit to all the evil, shit to the upheaval, shit to the bad people, shit to all the mystery, shit to the fake history, shit to the state of earth, shit to giving birth, shit to the hurt and pain, shit to going insane, shit to the people being rude, shit to poison in your food, shit to street theatrics, shit to psychiatrics, shit to secret society, shit to my sobriety. Get the fuck out my head, get the fuck out my head, get the fuck out my head, get the fuck out my head. Shit to DARPA, shit to my stepfather, shit to everyone that harms you, shit to feeling larger, shit to gang stalking, shit to rural walking, shit to people's walking, shit to not talking, shit to electronic.
I hope they don't totally take down this video because of the cuss words. I mean, I don't care. Like, I don't care about any. I didn't try and monetize this or anything, but let's just play it because who cares?
Harassment, shit to all that embarrassment, shit to all harassment, shit to fucking harm, shit to experimenting people, shit to all the evil, shit to the upheaval, shit to the bad people, shit to all the mystery, shit to the fake history, shit to the state of earth, shit to giving birth, shit to the hurt and pain, shit to going insane, shit to the people being rude, shit to poisoning your food, shit to street theatrics, shit to psychiatrics, shit to secret society, shit to my sobriety. Get the fuck out my head, get the fuck out my head, get the fuck out my head, get the fuck out my head. Shit to DARPA, shit to my stepfather, shit to everyone that harms you, shit to feeling larger, shit to gang stalking, shit to the trouble walking, shit to people's walking, shit to not talking, shit to electronic harassment, shit to all that embarrassment, shit to all harassment, shit to fucking harm, shit to experimenting on people, shit to all the evil, shit to the upheaval, shit to the bad people, shit to all the mystery, shit to the fake history, shit to the state of earth, shit to giving birth, shit to the hurt and pain, shit to going insane, shit to the people being rude, shit to poisoning your food, shit to street theatrics, shit to psychiatrics, shit to secret society, shit to my sobriety. Get the fuck out my head, get the fuck out my head, get the fuck out my head, get the fuck out my head.
Yeah, that's awesome. I was thinking about doing that as like my introduction song on all my videos. That's really good. He's a talented guy, musician, artist. I think this is another song.
When I'm leaving, when I'm going, I'm not going to be mowing, I'm not going to be hoeing, I'm not going to be showing, I'm not going to be blowing, I'm not going to be all knowing, but maybe I'll blow, maybe I'll know, maybe I'll work this thing out from the head to the toe. I'm on my side, I'm filled with pride to be one of your TIs. I hope you can understand that everything is out of hand, everything is out of hand.
Yeah.
When I'm leaving, when I'm going, I'm not going to be mowing, I'm not going to be hoeing, I'm not going to be showing, I'm not going to be blowing, I'm not going to be all knowing, but maybe I'll blow, maybe I'll know, maybe I'll work this thing out from the head to the toe. I'm on my side, I'm filled with pride to be one of your TIs. I hope you can understand that everything is out of hand, everything is out of hand.
Oh, it's really sad. That's why I didn't want to make this. I didn't want to. This is hard because I knew I was going to just break down, but I was like, well, my attackers have conditioned me. They conditioned me to kind of stop crying. I still do, but I don't do it as much, and it's hard. It's hard to see him talking about, like, taking this program down and everything. And then they killed him, but he made a difference. He talked about it. Actually, we're gonna go to his channel, and I want to find this one video. Well, let's listen to that one, like at the beginning. Let's see, because he was saying some good stuff in this one.
Hello. Right, this is my third attempt at trying to make a video. The other ones were corrupt.
I think this was his first video. I think this was the first video he made. Let me check. I want to keep that one up. Yeah. Oh, did he have a second channel too? This is my second channel because for some reason I cannot do anything on my first channel.
Hello. How's everyone doing? If anyone watches this, hope everyone's doing well. I was just reading a comment and I was just referred to as a criminal, and that I've admitted I'm a criminal. Well, I replied to the comment and said, which means I'm not a true TI. I said, well, I'm an individual that's being targeted by groups of people, so doesn't that make me a targeted individual? But for some reason, some people see them as not true TIs, and some other people who aren't Christian see people.
Prophecy End of Day says, what were they doing to him? Do V2K gang stalking? Yeah, Prophecy End of Day is they were gang stalking Phil. He had audible V2K, kind of like how I talk about, where you can actually hear the voices, and he was getting directed energy weapon attacks. I'm not sure if he was getting poison, like if he was getting some of the biochemical attacks and things like that. Because I watched him like the first couple of years, but I got so wrapped up with my own stuff. Tanya Bauer says it hurts our hearts bad, but we have to talk what they are doing to all TIs. Yeah, it's very hard to find that balance, and we've still got to find the balance because this is all just one punch after the other, tragedy after tragedy, while we're going through torture, right? And it just creates this cycle of trauma. We do have to find very, very unique ways to still be hopeful, to still laugh, to still do those things, and all these guys that have lost their life to this, we're gonna do that for them. We're gonna try and find hope for them. They've left us with hope. They've left us with creative things that they've done to inspire us. So we've just got to carry on. It's a struggle for me to try and make videos about targeting that are like, I guess it's all very interesting. It should be interesting to people because it's like the most important issue in our earth. But to make it fun is kind of hard, to balance it with hope and fun. this video, this video, remembering him and how good he was, that's a hopeful thing. How good this human being was, how hard he fought, how creative he was. But it's heart-wrenching. It's heart-shattering, that that he was doing the same thing as that I'm doing. He's trying to stop this. He's trying to get information out, and they murdered him. So I don't even know. I still have to process it. I still have to process this amongst a lot of other TIs, being murdered. It's hard to process it. It's hard to process it. We just got to do our best,
That are targeted individuals are not true TIs either. Well, I'm sorry, but I'm agnostic, and I am targeted by people, and that's just the way it is. I just wanted to clarify that. It doesn't matter what religion you are.
So Badger Report says, listen to that, everyone. People are accusing him of not being a real TI. Now he is dead. What do all the naysayers have to say now? I hope they feel some guilt for the accusations. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you have a point there, man. You have a definite point. We all, people call each other perps and stuff, and then somebody dies from the targeting. So obviously they were wrong, right? We got to be really careful about that. I don't have a solution for that because I know there's infiltration. I just, I keep thinking as we get further and further along, and if we all get on not the same exact page, we've got some different information, but if we can get most of the very important information, the crucial information and concrete data, concrete evidence, and all know about that, I think it would kind of tone down some of the infiltrators that are trying to just say left field stuff or whatever, because if it would be well known in the TI community what's happening by the concrete data as we go. As we move further that way, it won't be as impactful. Infiltrators doing whatever they're doing won't be as impactful to what we're trying to do. Will be more impactful. The truth will be more impactful. But like I say to y'all, if you do have a question about somebody, tell your group of targeted individual friends, tell your group about it. I just see I see all these fights and people calling each other perps, and it just creates an instant division. You got people on this side saying, no, that person's not a perp. And then you got all these people on the other side saying, oh, yeah, they are a perp. And it just creates division. So I have questions about, some people in the community. I tell people close to me, and then I just kind of maybe, don't work so closely with them, but it's not a lot for me. I'd rather take the risk myself. There are still targeted individuals to trust. There still are targeted individuals who are real. I know it because Phil was real. I'm real. That's the biggest thing for me, knowing that there are real targeted individuals out there, because I'm being heavily targeted, yet I'm making YouTube videos and stuff like that and talking to a lot of targeted individuals. So I'm like, well, I know that's for real because I'm doing it, So that's one suggestion that I'd say, try, go on some conference calls or make a YouTube video and see how it works, see how you interact with other targeted individuals and things like that. You'll get a better picture of who's telling the truth because you'll be doing it,
If you've got gangs, groups, or any other species, any other creature continuously at you, you're being targeted by more than one. The best word for it probably is targeted individual, or targeted person, or targeted me. But yeah, I just wanted to put that right. But it's the commenter will know who they are because they're a cocky. Read a lot.
Okay, Autumn says he was 32 or 33. So he was in his early 30s. Thanks, Autumn. Yeah. That's way too young to die. and there's no possibility that if he was not being targeted that he would be dead. He would still be alive. L. Ann says if it was his main heart valve called the window maker just collapses, that was targeting. Anyone bringing awareness or speaking. So Yogi says he was the first YouTubers, one of the first YouTubers I saw. He was making videos since 2015. Yeah, he was one of because he was I started making videos I think 2014, maybe it was 2000. No, it had to have been 2014. But he started making videos like a little bit after, and he was one of the kind of pioneers, definitely one of the pioneers. Because you can just tell he's a brave guy. He's going to tell it like it is. He's just going to say what's happening. I think that's one thing that's happened with me is at the beginning, I was being targeted by directed energy weapons, high pitched sound in the ears, voice to skull. So I just told everybody. I was telling the police, I was telling my parents. It was happening. It is happening. I had not gone crazy. I was 100% sure that I had not gone crazy because of my whole life and how my whole life had gone, and because of how it happened, and like the V2K, I didn't even think was voices in my head. I thought that I can just hear my neighbors for years. What was I going to say? But as we've gone on, as I've gone on through the years, right, I've been conditioned, probably from a lot from my remote neural manipulation, but a lot from society, how society responded to this thing that was very true, right? And they're acting like we're crazy, or people just don't want to talk about it or whatever. I was conditioned by that. So now I'm when I talk about it, I say, oh, well, I know this sounds crazy. And I'm trying to, really show concrete data, because I realize that even if we're saying something that's true, society has been conditioned, their perception has been conditioned to whatever the mainstream media says, or whatever society as a whole, like the hive mind says is okay to believe in. That's what most people are going to believe in. Whatever it says is not okay to believe in or is crazy, they're not going to believe in that. So society is being controlled perceptually. That is it. But you look at Phil. I don't think he ever would have. He was never conditioned. He maybe knew how other people thought, but he was just going to say what was happening, because he's that unique kind of person that was just like, yes, this is happening. I'm going to come out. I don't think he was ever conditioned to be like, oh, I know people are going to think this was crazy. He didn't care. And that's an inspiration to me, because sometimes it's not like I care about what people think about me, but I'm like, how do we do this? How do we stop this program? I'm going to have to connect with some of those non-targeted individuals, but I think sometimes it just doesn't matter. We just have to say what's happening. Even if some of the things that we're perceiving, maybe we're get messed up because we're being hit with these weapons and neuro weapons and stuff, it doesn't matter. The bottom line is that we are being hit with directed energy weapons. Some people are being, biochemicals are being used on them, and we are being gang stalked. That's the bottom line. And then we just do our best at explaining it. I'm really fighting that conditioning. I've been conditioned by NLP and the remote neural weapons, the remote neural weapons, the remote neural manipulation, but also just by how my parents reacted to it, just how everybody on YouTube kind of reacted to it. That wasn't a TI, right? Because I know targeted individuals understand, and that's been a long road, right? Many years we've been talking about this. You get conditioned to how people respond to it. And you're like, well, I got to maybe explain it differently, or I got to do this or do that. Sometimes you just got to say it. You got to kind of bash people over the head with it.
A books type person that's never been out in the real world. So they know a lot of quotes from different books and how the ego is and stuff like that, but they don't know about the University of Life.
I just want to read these two comments because they're pretty important, but then I'm just gonna I think I just want to play 10 minutes from this and then maybe a couple minutes from another Phil Leek video. And y'all go check out his channel and remember him. Remember how he was funny all the time. He was like a cute guy. Like, I'm not gay or anything, but You know, he's a cute guy. He was funny. You know, he was smart. He was creative. He should not have been killed by this program. This should not have happened, and it did. It did. Oh, I lost. And oh man, I had okay. So HB says, are we targeted because as trial beta test? I still don't understand. HB, targeted individuals are targeted for many different reasons, and there's many different protocols from many different private contractors and private subcontractors and under the DoD. But I guess the centerpiece for all this happening is experimentation with directed energy weapons to see how they affect the body, to see how they targeted directly affect the body over long periods of times, even lifetimes. But then you've got the neuro weapons that are actually, doing trauma-based behavioral control. So hurting us with these directed energy weapons and seeing how they can behaviorally control people. Also mapping the mind. Also teaching AI, because I've got an AI interacting with my brain, right? The remote neural manipulation, a lot of it's automated. Then the Chatterbox software is AI. They're trying to teach these AI programs how the brain works to make better AI too. There's a lot of different reasons, but I do see that the centerpiece is advancing these weapons in every country that is happening, advancing directed energy weapons and neuro weapons, these integrated weapon systems, but also learning more about control of human beings, control of the brain, control of the nervous system, perceptual control, and things like that. And then you've got the DHS fusion centers and whatever organization in other countries would be like akin to the DHS fusion centers that does the gang stalking parallel to this. Basically, the people that they're experimenting on with these weapons and advancing these weapons, they're feeding them to the surveillance state, right? So that they can justify the existence of DHS fusion centers, InfraGard, community watch programs. They feed us to those programs, right, to discredit us, and so those programs can keep getting money pumped into them. So you could say, bottom line, these weapons are the like #1 new technology where you can really control people, right? So they're going to really work on advancing these weapons, competing with other countries, Russia and China, and England. Well, England would be United States' ally. So it's kind of it's a complicated answer, HB. There's a lot of angles to this, but I would say that the centerpiece is training, research, and development. Training the people who work with these weapons, because that was a big thing at the Directed Energy Summit. They were like, it can't just be that a scientist can use these weapons. They got to make it and mass manufacture it and make it so that if some soldier in the field uses it, they can use it, right? Or whoever's operating these integrated weapon systems, it has to be push button. It has to be to where an idiot, a monkey, could do it. So they're trying to do training like that. They're also trying to get the human operators to build up the automated systems, to teach the automated systems how to make decisions better about attacking targets. And then they're also, studying the brain, the nervous system, how they can push people's beliefs, how they can destroy people, how they can destroy families, even if they're good, and things like that. A lot of angles. But you could simplify it as just training, research, and development of these weapons, and also researching the brain and the nervous system and trauma-based mind control. So it's not a simple answer, HB. That's why a lot of targeted individuals have made so many videos about it, and we've got to look at this from a lot of different angles. No, I don't think one targeted individual can come out and say this is what it's all about, because they may be correct. They may be correct for what's happening to them, but then there's like hundreds of different protocols that are doing different things to other targeted individuals. So they might not be right about those people going through those protocols, you see? So this was very important. Prophecy End of Days said Brian too is getting hit hard in his heart. Yeah, Prophecy End of Days. that's why I really wanted, well, I want him to listen to Dave Case's CD. I'll just throw that in there for targeted individuals who you think you're getting remote neural manipulated. You probably are if you're a targeted individual, and your nervous system is going through pain. You got heart palpitations. They're artificially triggering the heart. That's why I wanted to go through, and I'll make a video going through the heart as the second brain, because we think about that that system, the Satan. What is it? Amplificate. Okay. Oh man, I knew it before I started the video. That it's the weapon system, Satan, silent assassination through amplified neurons. Now that's very important because you got neurons in your brain, but you've also got neurons in your heart, and you got neurons in your stomach. So I actually have a theory, a hypothesis. I'm going to be researching it more, but I think when they're attacking our heart, they are amplifying neurons. One ain't one protocol, because there are lots of protocols for how they can attack your heart. They can just shoot the same frequency externally to your heart to attack it. They can attack it through remote neural manipulation of the autonomic nervous system. But I think also what they can do is they can amplify neurons in the brain that connect to the heart, and they can amplify neurons in your heart, just like they do in the brain. That's why Dave Case's CD is so super important, and I don't really get the heart attacks anymore from using that. But before Dave Case's CD, it felt like somebody was squeezing my heart, and I would fall down on the ground, like a lot. And I think it's through amplifying neurons actually in the heart sometimes. I think that may be one protocol. Okay, yeah, guys, I just want to play a little bit more. I'll probably play some more of this video, and then maybe go to another one, and then I'll maybe read some more y'all's chats. But I just wanted to remember Phil tonight. Well, we need to remember him not just tonight. You know, we need to remember what we're fighting for. And for me, when I see this, when I see somebody like special like Phil who fought, and it just like it's hard because I see myself. I see myself. I'm like, I'm just a guy who, like, I want to do some creative stuff. I wanted to maybe make video games or be a director. I write all the time. I could never draw as good as Phil. That's an incredible God-given talent, you know. But you know, it helps me remember we got to fight to not let it happen again, to try our best, to move forward. Because if we get each other good information, like if I would have maybe tried harder, I'm not blaming myself for Phil's death at all. I've done that before with other targeted individuals that have passed, and it's stupid. It's stupid. But like if I could have gotten him Dave Case's CD or something like that, or try, you know, if we can pass around some of these techniques, and we can pass around better information, and we can pass around hope, these rallies, then, you know, this might not happen. This might not happen again. Now, I don't know if that would have helped Phil. I don't know, because, you know, he's being targeted so bad, his body gave out. I don't know if anything could have changed that. I do. I mean, I do. I think that maybe if he could have gotten some defensive things, maybe. But we just got to remember. We got to remember what we're fighting for. Fight to not let it happen again. But also, what did they want to bring to the world? What did Phil want to bring to the world? What did Crystal Starheart want to bring? What was important to her about this fight? And we've got to look at that. We've got to look at that, because I know it's gonna. You're gonna see, like, if you go to some of Phil's videos and watch what he thought about this and what he wanted to do, you're gonna go, wow, that's what I wanted to do, you know. And it's almost like a kismet thing. It's a kismet thing, maybe. And I guess I don't want to go too metaphysical, but, you know, tonight when I picked that Eminem song, you know, before I even went through a bunch of his videos, and then I saw that he was playing that Eminem song, a little bit of kismet there. Maybe Phil was kind of grabbing my shoulder and saying, you know, hey, you know, before I even, you know, I don't know. I don't even know how to explain that. But our connection with those that we've lost, there's a connection still with them. And I think that it's even more, it's stronger. That connection with people that have just gone to the other side is stronger, like within the first couple of weeks, you know. Now, I don't know how to exactly explain that, but I felt it on a bunch of a bunch of my loved ones that I've lost.
Yeah, so the criminal thing, yes, I have committed a stabbing in my own house. I stabbed a man in my own house. I was a threat for my life.
Okay, I didn't want to show that. I didn't know that. But I'm sure he was I'm sure it was self-defense, but it doesn't matter. Even if like he did like technically commit a crime or whatever, you know, he didn't deserve to be tortured to death. Let's see this. This looks pretty creative.
Hello. I've done about 65, maybe 70 hours of not sleeping, just through caffeine alone and my anti-anxiety tablets that I'm on, just to see if it causes schizophrenic-like symptoms, which I know it does. But there are easier ways of getting rid of these schizophrenic-like symptoms than taking massive doses of antipsychotics. Let me unplug that. So I'm in a light a bit. Yeah, so I'm feeling weaker. Don't feel very strong. But that's because I've just been drinking lots of fluids. Cola.
He had a lot of songs.
Fizzy water. But I want to say about doctors and psychiatrists not giving anyone the option that shows signs of schizophrenic symptoms, B vitamin washout and some exercise to flush all the adrenal byproducts out of their brain. And none of the doctors seem to know about it. Scientific fact, I've read it from scientific journals. But none of the doctors or psychiatrists seem to know about that. I found a new way of sort of coping with what's going on. If anyone knows what I'm talking about, who's watching this.
He was definitely like an outside of the box thinker, which is an incredible strength. I think that within the targeted individual community, we've really got to get that balance of out of the box thinkers that are targeted individuals. And maybe I think so many targeted individuals are out of the box thinkers, but then there's some that are more down to earth, grounded, logical, and they don't think so much outside. We got to really get that balance of people who know how the system works and then really out of the box thinkers to come together and get some really good solutions going.
Drawing on the smallest bits of paper or card you can find. It seems like you can put more and more sort of detail into and colour into the drawing. So I've been focusing on that. Only the framed one I did yesterday. It don't take you long, but you can stick loads of detail in because there's only such a small area to fill the detail in. You know, if you can guess what all that is, you're a genius. Well, I would say, but anyway. That's the one I just did today. Anyway, I just wanted to hear what Search Tanking says again. I know he said it before on others. Just listen to what he says. I'm using a stick, so it's going to be hard. Then they built the NSA a year after. Which is all true. He's telling the truth. He's being completely honest. And then you've got it's exactly how I feel that. Mr. Eminem, a skillful rapper.
Yeah, I wanted to play some more of Phil's stuff, but S. Robles had an interesting comment. I don't respond to the V2K anymore. I'm not really able to anyhow because they block me from answering or conversations with them. They replace my response with theirs. That is very, very true. Like I've come to a point because like I'm a very adaptive person, and with the V2K, I've gotten to this point where I really can't ignore it, even though I can hear it. But they will put emotions and feelings and sometimes even inner voice stuff, saying stuff back to them that's not from me to keep that going because they want you in this cycle of paying attention to them. So when you're finding real adaptation and you do ignore them, you can't ignore something that's almost impossible to ignore. They will then go ahead and go, okay, well, we're going to just put the response in there to catch the person, to get the person being targeted in this cycle, right? To get me back in that cycle of paying attention to them. They do that because the woman on the V2K, I have a woman on the V2K who's like, oh, I can't, she's right now, she just said, I can't do this anymore. And she's trying to act like she wants it to stop. But a long time ago, I stopped feeling emotional about that. I was like, okay, that's, chatterbox, or if it is a real woman there, she doesn't really care. But they will inject a feeling to me when she does it now, where I'm like, oh, she really wants this to stop, right? And it's an artificial feeling. I know it is because I've already passed that. I already got past it and neutralized it. So yeah, that's it. Oh, it's so insane. The psychological torture is the most unbelievable thing ever. And there are no words. There just are no words for how bad all of this is. But especially the psychic driving, like psychic driving us with V2K, psychic driving us with NLP, psychic driving us with putting in emotional, like overlaying EEGs to voices that they're shooting at your head. Then they overlay an EEG or a feeling to it. So like even if it was just the voice being shot at your head and you did successfully adapt and really ignore it, then they just overlay an EEG of response. So what she says is very, very true. There are just no words. This is like MK Ultra from afar. It's like the people. It's like it's almost yeah. I mean, we can move around. We're not in a lab or anything, but it's like somebody, just not dosing us with LSD all the time, but constant MK Ultra, electromagnetic MK Ultra all the time during our lives. I just wanted to read that because that's an important comment.
I mean, this is about dropping the bombs ages back. Listen, they don't even have march that time. Fuck all.
Yeah, S Robles. Yeah, what they're doing, what your attackers are doing to you sounds a lot like what my attackers are doing to me. I want to read this. So I used to. Okay, so S Robles says I used to be able to respond to them in the beginning, but now they have these program responses where I can't even answer back. Can't think. They block my thought. Yeah, that's what my attackers. They block. Okay, let me finish reading it because like I can't think. They block my thoughts. Yeah, that's one big thing that my attackers do too. They subdue my thinking. They narrow my thinking, subdue it, so they can replace it with artificial stuff. I mean, for any non-TIs watching, this is true. They're messing with the brain so badly, and they suppress areas of the brain, areas of how you think, with electromagnetic frequencies, and then replace it, overlay something that isn't even you. Or may have been you, but you got past that feeling, but they recorded that feeling. They remote neural monitored that feeling, and then they send it back in when you've gotten over that feeling, and they amplify it, right? So yeah, Estro, that sounds very similar to what I'm going through. L. Ann says Satan, silent assassination through adaptive. I think it's silent assassination through amplified neurons. I thought that's what, yeah. Badger Report says it's Satan programmed silent assassination through amplification of neurons. It's one of those. I think maybe people say it both ways. We need to find out which one it is. Hey, Awakened State of Mind, targeted in Australia. I hope you're making it through this all right. Thank you, Kyle. Peace, bro. Take care, everyone. God bless. Yeah, God bless you all. And y'all go, I don't know. If you haven't subscribed to Phil's channel, I don't think they're going to take it down or anything. Like, go subscribe to him. And I can't think of anything else, but just to remember the good person he was, and to remember we're fighting for a whole lot of people like Phil out there who are still being targeted, but they haven't been murdered yet. And we're fighting to carry on what Phil was trying to do in the world. It's just like I say that stuff, but it's just such a tremendous loss. It's a tragedy. I'm trying to, when I'm not ready to make it hopeful, like I'm not ready to make this hopeful yet. We just need to remember Phil, and just kind of just remember him and mourn him, mourn the loss of someone like him.
What shade do we really have? Do you really buy your phone for the last minute I've got on here? Do you buy your phone, or does your phone buy you? Every time you drop the bomb.
It was fearless, man.
You don't accept the phone, right? Here's the thing. I've been told by no one, you want to stay in a pot for a week, for fuck's sake? That's ridiculous. Everyone's in a pot for 6 weeks if they've broken an ankle. Where's the scar?
Oh, what's that?
Look at that. I was walking on it for a week and a half before they told me it was broken. And then when I went back to the doctors for some painkillers, they told me it's fine, it's just sprained. After having me up and being in pot. It's fucked, man. It's on Christmas Day as well, so they put a bit of symbology in there. Like I've been poisoned on Christmas Day, like I've been given hallucinogens on Easter and so forth. Hallucinogens on the day on my stepdad. So like, this is what they're doing to people. Some people unknowingly, which is probably better, but it'd probably be better if everyone knew that this was happening and then it stopped. That's why they didn't tell you how they did MK Ultra and how they got everyone involved. They just tell you what they did to people. Oh, they tell you 6 things what they do. They just like.
Hey, Jeanette, good night. Jeanette says, good night, everyone. I'm going to try and get some sleep. Have a good night, Jeanette. I hope you can get to sleep easily. I pray for you to have as peaceful a night as you can. Hey, Brian. Brian, too, says, memory management is the use of fabricated and falsified memories. R&M supercomputer blocks your real memories and injects with fabricated and falsified memory references and motivational impulses. Yeah, that's so true. See, Brian too says, see. Well, let's play the rest of this, guys. Let's remember him, for the creative, awesome person he was, and keep moving forward. And if we find anything else, maybe his parents will really investigate, and maybe they'll find some evidence of something though. But I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work out.
Tell you how they managed to get all them people involved without a noise. Tell them it'll stop paedophile rings and everything. Seriously, this is what I think. But this is just my opinion. I'm just a lad with an opinion that assumes he's being experimented on, and the people around him, like the girls with their phones pissing around and stuff, they think it's some girly game. And so forth, the men that are following me on walking through, it's getting ridiculous. But I call it Project Fear or Project Stress. Stress you the fuck out. Sorry for my swearing, but it's loads of swearing on there, so I'll leave it there with this nice bit of colour. Where it's upside down actually, but you can have it any way you want, can't you? See how many animals.
This was Jeanette left, but she had a good comment earlier. Jeanette said they brought MK Ultra out of the lab and is in our homes now, and that's what I was trying to say earlier. I think I said something like it, but that's a better way to say it.
Also, modified before it goes off for the chord white mode. Modified my tree paintings out, which are taking ages. So I'm better with just pencils, I reckon, rather than paintbrushes. It's too difficult. Right, thank you for listening. Whoever's a genuine geezer and not thinking this is just one big fucking laugh, because it certainly isn't. Not to me, and not to my dad over there, who was nursing a bird back to health. Fortunately, he died around that age, not long after I was born.
Oh man.
Black-haired, blue-eyed, handsome fellow who's a lot like me. I reckon he knew what was going on anyway. Right. Thank you.
All right, guys. I think that's going to be it for tonight. I just wanted to do kind of a memorial video for Phil. Yeah, S. Robles, I'd really recommend that you try Dave Case's CD, antitinnitusv2k.com. I'd really recommend it, that when you sleep, you try and use that, because like they do that kind of stuff to me that you're talking about, but I can remember my own memories and stuff like that. I can control my mind a lot. Like I get a lot, but if I would not have used Dave Case's CD, probably Dave Case's CD being the main thing, but also some of the headgear and stuff like that, I would maybe be in that situation where I don't feel like I could access my own thought. Like I couldn't bring a memory up. I would really suggest that to any of you guys who feel like the psychological remote neural manipulation torture is just out of control. I'd really recommend. Yeah. S. Robo says, I'll try and think back on a memory and there was constant interference. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I love you guys. Go maybe just check out a few of his videos and remember him. And check out Autumn's channel. She has, not just on this, but she really stays on top of what's happening in the targeted individual community and puts out some really good videos. So, all right, guys. I still got to kind of go through it and mourn in my own way. And also one of my best targeted individual friends, her father just died. So I'm trying to find out how do we just keep taking these licks, right? And all this bad stuff's happening, all this tragedy and horror. We've still got to keep our core and keep hope and happiness and stuff like that, because all of these people that we've lost, they would want us to go forward stronger, So, all right, guys, that's going to be it for tonight. I'm still sharing my screen. I thought I'd somehow magically stop sharing my screen. All right, I love you guys. I love you all. Y'all have a safe Sunday. It's Sunday now. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to work on something, but I really want to do that video about the heart being the second brain, because I feel like that's, aside from my spirit and like how we're connected to God, I think that the neurons in our heart are more hardwired. So I don't know. I'm going to be researching that, but guys, thanks for coming. Let's not just remember Phil. Let's remember all the people we've lost, but we got to tell people about him. We got to tell people about Phil. We got to tell people about Crystal Star. We got to tell people who don't understand this. We got to show them these awesome people, these peaceful people. And I feel it looked like he got into some trouble, right? But he was a good guy. He may have made some mistakes or something, and nobody deserves this kind of torture. Nobody deserves to be murdered by this torture, and he was. So, all right, guys, I'm going to say a prayer. I'm going to say a prayer before I shut down the live stream. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, in the name of Jesus Christ. Dear Lord, please help Phil and my friend's father to pass through to to heaven with you. Just help everybody in this world to just give them strength. Give us strength to get through this tragedy, this horror. Help Phil's family. Please just help Phil's family. Give them strength and courage in this time, comfort, and just give us all strength to get through this. But please give us miracles. Please give us miracles to end this genocide and this torture. If it's in your will, please help us, God. Thank you for all the miraculous, things in our lives. Thank you for making us. All our, we're creative and beautiful. Thank you for giving us, Phil, a creative and beautiful soul. And maybe just let him help you in heaven to end this targeting program. Maybe you can help out on that. All right. Thank you, God, for everything you've given us. Please give us miracles. Please give us fortitude. Please give us strength. And please help us to get through these horrible things that it's very hard to process. Help us to process them. Give us strength flowing from you to process these almost unprocessable events and tragedies, and then what's going on with us. But just thank you for life, God, and thank you for life. We're all going to die someday. That's how life works, but that's how you've made it. But just thank you for the time that we do have on this world. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. In the name of Jesus Christ, guys. All right, I'll see you on the next one. And just stay strong out there. But we need to remember those that have been murdered by this program. All right, I love you guys. Stay strong, and I'll see you on the next one.